Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals, please listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application and it's other than a renewal and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First application tonight is application 2619 of Catherine Duran, property located in North Babylon. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Gustavo Munoz. I'm the architect for the applicant.
Okay, and I need an address.
Address 71 Bluebird Lane, Plainview, New York.
Okay, and you affirm to tell the truth? For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March the 5th. Environmental control memo dated March the 4th. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Eagle Eye Land dated 4/29/25. Plans by Architectural Studio PC dated 12/1/25. Four photographs, and we have an affidavit of posting. What would you like to tell us about the application?
Basically, it's an existing 1.5-story home, one family. We're dorming the back of the home, only the back portion, doesn't affect the front. Currently, there's a basement, unoccupied, unfinished, with a boiler room. First floor, we have 2 bedrooms and an attached one-car garage. There's no door leading to the garage from inside the house. And on the second floor, currently there's 2 bedrooms, and we're going to make it a 4-bedroom. That's really basically.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Ms. McCullough.
All right, so is the property currently occupied
Yes, it is.
by the owner?
Not that we are recently bought and
It was recently bought and it has someone living in there that we are removing, or will they continue to live there?
they'll be moving once the dormer is
Okay, so the plan is to have the property owner move into the property? Okay, so currently there, people are renting? Okay, we don't have a rental permit. Are you guys aware? Okay, we would need that for as long as they're in there. Because this may, I don't know how long this construction is gonna take, but we're gonna need that, okay? So you would have to apply for that. So the back dormer, you're going over the existing footprint? You're not pushing?
not extending out, it's just keeping the same envelope of the existing.
Oh, really, you're just adding bedrooms?
Straight up.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board?
No kitchen up there, right? You said just bedrooms.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? I just need your name and address for the record.
Suzanne Routine, 101 Rutledge Road, North Babylon.
Okay, and you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
What would you like to tell us?
It's not really such a question, I do have a concern, since the place does have a daycare center there that we were not aware of when they were moving in. I just want to make sure that it's going to stay small, and we're not going to be having a two-story daycare center. They did a lot of renovation on the outside, which is beautiful, and my only concern is the size of the daycare center.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I need you to come back up.
Oh, wait, someone has that.
Oh, I'm sorry, somebody else? Somebody else want to be heard? Come on up. Name and address for the record.
96 Rutledge.
Name?
Courtney Gill.
Okay.
I currently live there and I'm the owner of the daycare.
Okay, so, wait. Do you affirm to tell the truth? Okay, go ahead. Now go.
I just wanted to, for the record, say that I'm a licensed New York State daycare, so the size of it cannot grow. So, like, even though it's
we're a licensed family group daycare. We're not a center, clinic, the size stays the same.
And what is the size currently? How many children are you guys?
12,
12, okay.
Do you reside at this location? Yes? Okay.
just currently until renovation is done upstairs, and then I'm moving out to the
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
What does the business stay? Is she still gonna do the business out of the house when she moves, or?
Come on, can we ask you to come back up? We have questions.
When you move out, will the business remain in this location? It will. Okay. And how?
for the business to stay there, somebody has to be living in the property. That's what makes it family group daycare. So somebody on the premise has to be living in the property in order for the business to run.
And the upstairs or what's being added has nothing to do with the daycare at all?
It's just gonna give the owner more space to live, because I currently live in a studio.
Okay.
Like I live in it's a one bed, I have a bed there, and I share the kitchen. So like, yeah, she's gonna move upstairs and have a bigger room. So,
Okay. Thank you. No, okay. We're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks for coming down. We'll take everything into consideration, so, all right? Thank you. Okay, all right, very good. Probably yours too, so, okay, thanks. Okay, close the hearing, reserve decision. Next application is application 2611, property located in West Babylon on A Street, 1611 A Street. Name and address for the record.
Frank Sciarra, 1611 A Street, West Babylon.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth? Do you affirm to tell the truth? I'm sorry. Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 5th, 2026, a environmental control memo dated March 12th, 2026. You should look and see if you need a DEC freshwater lands permit. You're close to the water.
Yeah, there's a sump behind me.
Okay, you might want to check into and see if you need a DEC permit from New York State, okay? We have a survey by Earl Lovell dated September 10th, 2024. Plans by BKH Architects dated November 18th, 2025. 12 photographs, and we have an affidavit of posting. What would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm just looking for, to make the house a little bigger. We have small children and we're running out of rooms.
Okay. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you? Good. There's a platform in the backyard. What is the purpose of that? What is that used for?
Which platform are you speaking?
I don't know, so there is a platform that requires permission to diminish the distance from west lot line from 2 feet to 0.8. So it's gotta be close to the property. Is that it right there?
Yeah.
That's a garden.
It's a garden?
Plant, maybe? Supposed to say plant?
Just built out with, like 2 by
Wards around it or
10
something? Okay. And you currently have a accessory apartment permit?
No,
You don't.
that was done, we got rid of that 2015, I believe.
Okay. So your intentions are to keep it single family and owner occupied?
Yes.
You and the family? I don't think I have any further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board?
Taken down.
Chairman,
Yeah, I'll give
DEC would like to
Okay.
make the requirement for the applicant to obtain a freshwater wetlands permit as a condition of the.
Okay, so that's going to be a requirement of, if we were to approve the application, you're going to have to get a wetlands permit from DEC. Yeah, okay. It should be, it should be in the paperwork in there, okay? Okay, so that's going to be a condition of approval, so you're going to have to get that, okay? All right. Any other questions from the board?
Just one, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna read three conditions that I'm gonna ask you to, if you agree or don't agree to. That the second-story deck not be enclosed above or below?
Yes, yeah, no,
Okay. Should the shed ever be taken down or in disrepair, be rebuilt in a conforming location? Okay, and there must be internal access between the first and second floors? Okay, I have no further questions, Chairman.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Do we have to hold this till he gets his?
No, that's
Make
a
it a condition.
Just add that as the fourth condition for the New York State DEC permit.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 26-11 with the conditions listed on the planning memo
And the DEC.
And the D.
and the DEC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
Who seconded?
Next application is application 2613 of Kevin Maurice Fox, property located in Wheatley Heights. Name and address for the record, please. Okay, sir, need your name and address? Okay, and do you both affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated 2613. Environmental control memo dated March 4th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Scalise Land Surveying dated March 12th, 2025. Plans by Impact Architecture dated 11/4/25. There are 5 photographs, and we have the affidavit of posting. What would you like to tell us about the application?
So I'm going to speak for the
Yes,
owner.
okay.
Okay. You could sit down right there if you want. So the whole intent of this project is that they need additional rental income. So the second-story addition that's going to be built over the garage is where the accessory apartment's going to go. So I would also like to point out that New York State has approved a grant. It's the Accessory Dwelling Unit, ADU program. I would like to submit a copy of that to the board, if that's okay. And also, there's a design criteria that that goes along with that. Are you familiar with that program? No? Okay.
Well, we're going to work on it.
This was approved last March, and I read through the comments from the planning department, and, they did make reference to some of the design. They say that it could be redesigned with the front yard setback, but there were reasons why the design is as it is, and the owner could attest to, there was different things that they had to deal with the building department. Do you want to say a couple of things?
I don't know what I should address specifically, but we did submit an original design. The original design was rejected. They told us that was the design with the portico because there was an entrance made in the basement that was supposed to wrap around the building so that it wouldn't disrupt the front door, because in order to build the ADU, it has to have access to the first level. So we redid the designs with the enclosed porch so that the door does not directly enter the living room. One, it's aesthetically unpleasing, and we didn't feel comfortable. We have children in the house, that it was safe to have the door that they could access, that the tenants could access directly to the living room. So we redesigned it so that the enclosed porch allows for the entrance to not be directly to the living room. It enters the space that you see on the first floor that allows access directly to the second floor. So that's why the design, strayed away from the portico idea.
So I do want to point out, so on the building department denial, talks about, the required is 30 feet, and what we were requesting was the 21.32, but when we read the legal notice here, it goes to the 15.4, which is the concrete stoop, the proposed concrete stoop. I don't know, does that matter? Or how did that change?
So what are you, the front yard setback you're talking about?
If who's scrolling on the plans here? Yeah, take a look at the plot plan right there. So the building department stated 21.32 to the addition, but the legal notice here points out to 15.4, which is a concrete stoop. Do you see that on the plot plan?
It's not a permitted encroachment because you're not meeting the required front yard setback.
Okay. So did the building department, I guess the building department then pick up on that? Is that what happened? Because if you look at the denial, it talks about it's 21.
The denial was updated before it was advertised to the zoning board.
Okay. So in the planning comments, it does reference the existing condition, and then there was also a variance, looks like back in 1961, that, in order to build the existing home, they had to get certain relief from the setbacks. So the, with the design that they have right now, I understand that, they made comments that it could be redesigned, but technically it really can't. In order for them to comply with the grant from New York State, this is the design. If you look at the requirements I had submitted, but this is the design that they came up with. And that better suits the property. The property is irregular shaped. It is a corner property, which has 2 front yards. So they are a little restricted with the zoning code. And then there was also some other comments that the second-story addition could be constructed over the existing dwelling, but that couldn't be done because the existing dwelling is about 1,200 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, kitchen, living room, bathroom. So they didn't want to touch the design because if they put the stairs and they're going up to the second floor, they would have to do major alterations and then make their space even smaller. So the design that they have is what it is, it fits the property essentially.
So is the front, is that a portico or is that an enclosed porch?
So it's-
Exactly what is that?
It's like an entryway. It has, so to give the appearance still as a single family, but it has, when you enter that area, there's 2 doors. The one that go to the right goes to the main part of the house, which is for the,
There's 2 front doors?
well, you don't see that.
You don't see that?
You don't see it, no, because the front gives the appearance of single family, but they wanted that separation because they want, like he said, they have children there, they want to go into their part of the house and then a separate entrance to go upstairs into the accessory apartment above the garage.
Okay.
Nikki, do you see
So, and the building department, right, they were okay with this
you go
design?
and then there's a wall,
We did.
and a door here, and then
Yeah, sure, we'll come back.
so there's an entryway here.
Should I talk?
Double door, single entry. Yeah. So it's a single entry door.
Yeah, and like I said, we did submit the original design with the portico, but that design was rejected because the entrance, in order to prevent because it has to be on the first level, they said that we had 2 options. We could do an enclosed porch, or we could put it directly in the living room. And directly in the living room wasn't aesthetic, and it didn't feel safe. And so the other option was the enclosed porch. So we only went with the enclosed porch because that's what we were told were our options. We also optioned the option of having the door in the basement, and we were told that wasn't allowed either. So the enclosed porch became the only option that we had, or just cut right into the living room.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions about the design in the front?
No, you answered the question of why, so I mean,
Okay.
that's what we were looking for.
The rear yard is obvious. I mean, the existing, I suppose they had to get a variance back in '61. The required is 30 feet. I think the existing is 16, then he just reduced it I don't know, about 2 feet. So you need a relief for that. And then on the north side, the side yard, which is going, I think it's about 18, and then they're reducing it to about 7.2. But if you look at the existing, like the houses in the area, directly across the street, they have a small side yard setbacks, which is number 74, and then 72. So, I mean, this design, it's not going to change the characteristic of the neighborhood. It's not going to cause a detriment to the neighborhood. You know, even the environmental said that if it was approved, that, you know, it would not cause any issues with the environmental report. I could read it here. If approved, the application may not result in significant environmental impact.
Yeah, I read that into
Yep,
the,
okay.
I read that into the record.
Okay, good.
We putting on just over the garage, or we're doing the whole?
So it's just over the garage, which the accessory apartment's about, I think, 629 square feet, if you look at the zoning analysis. Then the first floor, which is, they're adding on about 409 square feet. So overall, it's about, I think, 1,039 square feet. If you look, I think it's zoom into the zoning analysis.
Totally just the upstairs over the garage?
It's over the garage, yeah, the bulk of the addition, and then they just did the front bump out and a little bit, you know, for the first floor. So overall, I mean, the existing is about 1,200 square feet. So when they add the addition, second floor, first floor, I think it's 2,279.
Okay.
Expanding the garage.
So like I said, it's not gonna, it's gonna be in line with the characteristic of the neighborhoods. You know, even on the corner of Locust and Andrews on the opposite side, there's a two-story, right there, number 75. I know you have the aerial, but that's a two-story home dwelling there, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Any questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We're going to close the hearing, reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks for coming down.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next applications are application 26-17 of Thornton Mellon Corporation and 2618.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bazell, Blanda, and Visconti with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay, for the record, on application 2617, we have a planning memo dated March 5th, 2026, that have a number of covenants and restrictions and conditions. We also have an environmental control memo dated March 3rd, 2026. If we were to approve this application, it would need a negative declaration. On application 26-18, dated March 5th, 2026. We have the same environmental control memo. Again, we would need a negative declaration. We have plans by Alphonse Pesci dated July 14th, 2025. That's a survey, I'm sorry. We have plans by Harold Gephardt dated October 4th, 2025. There are also 4 photographs. We have an affidavit of posting, and we have the same things on application 2618. Okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm here tonight on behalf of the property owner, Thornton Mellon Corp., seeking variances in connection with this 2-lot subdivision. The property's on the south side of State Avenue, 480 feet east of Lund Street in Wyandanch. It has 120 feet of frontage and 12,000 square feet of lot area. It is zoned Residence C, and it's presently improved with a 1-story dwelling that has a letter in lieu because it was built prior to code. It's also improved with a small detached garage that's located in the rear of the property. The current property owner purchased this property in early 2025. It was a foreclosure. Originally, there was a Bilko-style entrance to the basement in the rear of the property, but it was unsafe and very steep. You could see it there. Now, if you look at the survey, it's been made into a patio. So the Bilko entrance to the basement was the only entrance to the basement. Currently, there's no internal stairs to the basement. So that was removed, and a outside cellar entrance on the side was installed. But we're gonna fix that situation, and I'll get to that when we talk about Lot 2. But I just wanted to point that out to the board. And I do have a photo of the existing cellar entrance so the board can see what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to upload it. So we're proposing to subdivide the parcel into two 60 by 100-foot lots. Lot 1 would have a new 2-story single-family dwelling with 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, as well as an internal garage. So on that one, we're seeking to reduce the frontage from 75 feet required to 60 feet proposed, and the lot area from 7,500 square feet to 6,000 square feet. The house was designed to fit the lot, meaning that it was designed to meet the setback requirements for the Residence C zone. The only setback variance that we're seeking is for the 8-foot wide by 4-foot deep front portico, which would be sitting at 27 feet where 30 feet is required. The rest of the home would be 31 feet back. The front portico offers cover for anyone entering or exiting the home. You coming in with your groceries or your children, it's nice to have the room to be able to get into your home, find your keys, and get out of, inclement weather or what have you. This particular portico, if you look at the front elevation, it also provides a nice curb appeal, a little dimension to the front of the facade. It gives it, it's aesthetically pleasing. It gives it a little oomph, so to speak. It's a little something there. It is only 32 square feet, and the remainder of the home is at the setback of 31 feet. So we do believe that this little area is a minimum front yard setback variance. Again, it's solely for the portico. For Lot 2, we're seeking to maintain the existing dwelling on a 60 by 100-foot parcel, which requires the same relief as the other lot, 60 feet of frontage where 75 is required, and 6,000 square feet where 7,500 square feet is required. We are eliminating variance number 6 on this application. We are not seeking to have an outside cellar entrance. I think the nomenclature on the survey was confusing, and it carried over. So it says we're enclosing an outside cellar entrance, but really what it is an addition to the home so that there's an internal way to access this basement, which is for storage. So there would be no outside entrance. This would be fully enclosed. If you look at the elevations, you can see that's what exists right now. We're proposing to fix the situation by adding an addition on the home and have us be able to access the basement internally. So if there's no exterior entrance or exit, then this is no longer an outside basement entrance. And so that's, and it was confusing on the plans. I do have floor plans that show the internal door so that the board can see. I don't know if you're taking hard copies anymore, or do you want me just to upload them at some point?
You can give it to the board to review now.
Okay.
Upload.
The elevation that you have is accurate. You could see the front of the house, and you'll see how the siding will match, and everything will match on the elevation as what you see existing. But there's not going to be a door to the yard. So that's why we're able to eliminate that request, that variance. Okay. So in addition to, wait a minute. Since we don't need that variance, the only other variance that we do need is to maintain the front yard setback at 21.2 feet. Again, the home has a letter in lieu. We don't know exactly when that front patio area was constructed. However, I did go on to Suffolk County GIS, and I was able to find aerials dating back to at least 2001. For some reason, they skipped the 90s. There's no aerials from the 90s. So it's been there for at least 25 years in that location. and it's just a patio. We're also seeking to maintain the existing detached garage. It does need a side yard variance because of our new proposed lot line, so we're seeking to go from 6 feet to 3.2, and in the rear from 6 to 2.5. Given the size of this home, we do feel it's necessary to keep this structure, and I did go over the planning memo with my client, and he is willing to put new siding on this garage so that it matches the home, give it a new garage door, and basically spruce it up and update it so that it is more attractive. So you could see that garage, it's in need of some TLC. The triangular portion has new siding, so the idea would be to side the rest of it, get a new garage door on there, perhaps a new window on the side, and have it be, have it match the house that's there so that the structure is more attractive. The applicant is also willing to improve the driveway as well. I know that was a request of planning, and he would be willing to put a new driveway in as well for this property. There is one issue on this property that I wanted to bring up with respect to covenant number 10. As the board can see, this is a small house, and if you see the floor plan, you'll see that it's a 2-bedroom home. There is a chance, there's a family buying the house, they're in contract right now, and in the future, I could see such a family wanting to go up, maybe not blowing anything out, the footprint, because you would need more variances, but to put a second-story addition, I know this board doesn't usually like to lift covenants, so if they came in and they needed a variance, then of course you'd have jurisdiction over it, and you can decide what you will. But I think to put a no further expansion of the dwelling on a house of this size is restrictive. So I would ask respectfully that that covenant be deleted if the board sees fit to do so. Otherwise, we agree to all the other covenants, no accessory apartments, owner occupied, single family dwelling, etc. If we look at the surrounding area, the closest approval for a similar application in this area is to the southeast within our 200-foot radius. The approval has been renewed a couple of times. It hasn't been built, but it's from 2023. 345 New Avenue was approved as two 62.5 footers. So that was the closest approval. The most recent approval for a similar subdivision was back in December of 2025. That's southwest from us across Lund Street. Those were 62.5s as well. But if we look at the 200-foot radius, there are 35 parcels within that 200 feet, and of those 35, 20 of them are 60-footers. So we're just under 60% within the 200 feet are 60-footers, which is exactly what we're looking to do. So we do believe that this subdivision would be in character with the surrounding community. So given all that information, if the board has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. So on the new house, they talked about the front entrance could easily be redesigned to walk a smaller front porch. Is this, so we're putting this front porch on the new house?
Right now, the portico, my understanding is because it's 8 feet wide, that's what's generating the variance. So if it was 6 feet, we would not need a variance, I believe. I believe we're allowed to be 6 feet wide, 5 feet deep. We're 8 feet wide, 4 feet deep. That's what's generating the front yard setback variance.
For the extra 2 feet.
Well, if you look at I know sometimes you guys look at me and you're like, do you really need that? But if you look at the elevation, the way the columns are set with the door package having the side panels, the width does make it nicer. But again, it's up to the board.
Okay. What else? Zinc. Went over the basement entrance, the Bilko doors. Fix up the garage. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? The record, there are none.
Mr. Chairman, do you need me to officially amend saying that we eliminated that variance, or are we okay?
Yeah, I'll amend it.
Okay.
Yeah. On application 2618, I'll make a motion to amend that application to remove number 6, which allow an enclosed basement entrance on the west side.
Second.
All in favor?
Do you have the setback for this distance? And for this enclosure for the side of the house? Is it 17.8 or is that to the house?
I would have to get an updated setback for you. I think the minimum is, we'd have to have a 10 on one side, so we would make that.
All right, we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks
Okay.
for coming down.
Thank you.
Next application is application 2615, property located in North Amityville.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Nicole Blanda, Bizelle Blanda Visconti, with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay. For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated March 5th, 2026. A Environmental Control memo dated March 4th, 2026. Again, you would need a negative declaration on this application were we to approve it. It also, I have no fire marshal and no Suffolk County planning on this. We have a survey by Barrett, Banucci, and Van Weel dated October 8th, 2021. Suffolk County planning is pending. We have plans by Owls Engineering dated April 28, 2025, 6 photographs, and an affidavit of posting we do have. What would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm here tonight on behalf of GNR Building Corp., seeking variances in connection with the construction of a senior citizen multiple residence project with 4 two-story buildings having a total of 24 one-bedroom apartments. At the outset, I just want to amend to say that variance number 6, which says diminished distance to east side lot line from 6 feet to 5.5 feet for RPZ enclosure, is no longer necessary. I asked our engineer to put the dimension in because it was missing from the site plan, and we are at 6 feet. So we do not need variance number 6.
Okay, so I'll make a motion on application 26-15 to eliminate variance number 6, diminish distance to east side lot line from 6 to 5.5 for an RPZ enclosure.
Second.
All in favor?
So the town board granted the change of zone from Residence B to SCMR on January 14th of this year. The planning board approved our site plan on March 2nd of this year. As part of the planning board's approval, all of the town department's comments were addressed. The property is located on the south side of Cedar Road, 573 feet west of Columbus Boulevard. It has a lot area of 1.37 acres with 177 feet of frontage on Cedar. It's presently improved with a 2-story dwelling and some small sheds, all of which would be demolished as part of this application. Again, it was previously Res B, rezoned to senior citizen multiple res. A portion of the premises abuts the Southern State Parkway, as you can see on the aerial, on the west side, and then the rest of the westerly property line abuts a multi-res complex, and to the south, that complex fronts on Schlegel. To the east is a senior citizen complex, and directly to the north, across the street from us, is wooded property that's owned by the New York State, and I believe the DOT, and then to the east of that are residential homes. So we're seeking to redevelop this site with 4 separate 2-story buildings. If we look at the site plan, buildings A and B will have 8 units each. Building C will have 4 one-bedroom units, and Building D will have 4 one-bedroom units with a 2-story rec center. Ingress and egress for the site will be through one curb cut located in the center of the site. And the buildings will flank the side, both sides of the drive aisle. We exceed the parking requirement by 14 spaces. We're required to have 36 spaces, and we have 50. We are also under the density allowance. As per code, you're allowed to have 25 per acre. At 1.37 acres here, that would equate to 34 units. We're only seeking 24 units. So the variances that we are here tonight is for our lot area. We're required to have 2 acres. We have 1.37. With respect to variance number 2, we are seeking to diminish the front yard setback solely for the RPZ room/utility closet that is a bump out on Building A. That closet, that little room, is 4.5 feet deep by 7.5 feet wide. That brings us to a front yard setback of 25.5, only for the length of 7.5 feet, which is actually only 4% of the entire frontage, because we have 177.2 feet of frontage. So there's about 170 feet of frontage that's at the proper setback, if not greater. So that's a very minimal front yard setback variance. The reason that closet is in the location where it's at, the A and B mirror each other. So there's that same utility closet for the RPZ and the mechanicals at the rear of Building B. And then again on Building C and D, you'll see the similar little rooms, little closets. If we put that little closet in the back of our Building A, it would infringe upon parking spaces. If we put it to the side, it would infringe on residents' areas, you know, for their patio and whatnot. So from a design perspective, given the minimal space it's taking up, the design professional thought that was the best location for it. Our third variance, to diminish the distance between buildings B and D from 20 feet to 16 feet, is again generated from these little utility closets. The majority of the distance between buildings B and D is 25 feet. Only the area between the 2 closets is 16 feet. It's a little pinch point, but the rest of that length of those 2 buildings, we do hit 25 feet. Variance number 4 is to diminish the rear yard setback on Building D from 25 feet to 14.6 feet. That is at the corner of that Building D. As you go southerly, from that point, the rear yard does widen. So you're on an angle over there, and that's just the tightest point. So it's not 14.6 throughout the entire rear yard. It's just that corner of that building pinch point. And then our 5th variance is to allow the RPZ enclosure, which is up in front next to Building A, within 50 feet of the front street. We have it at 27 feet. And the reason for that is, and I don't know if you have the utility plan. If you don't, I can submit it. But there is a vault underground for the water main and for the pipes. And so we need to keep a certain distance from the underground water vault. I think they call it a vault. And we need to be within 10 feet. Oh, the water guy. So because we need a certain distance away from it, that's why that RPZ enclosure is there. It's a fiberglass enclosure. It kind of looks maybe like a little shed or something like equipment. But that is the reason it's there, and an RPZ enclosure is necessary to prevent the backflow of water, so that water is flowing in only one direction, and you don't bring contaminated water, back into clean water. So that's the design reason for why it's located where it is. We did confirm that it is 6 feet from the property, from the side yard, so we don't need that variance, but we do need it, as you can see on the utility plan. There is a reason why our engineer chose to put it in that location. We believe the variances for this project are minimal. We've included the rec space. It's actually a nice rec space for the seniors. It's a 2-story rec space with a library and a fitness center. And like I said, there's plenty of parking for the site. If the board has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Perotti.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you describe the reason and the need for the complex of this size and why the buildings have been designed in this manner?
Sure. So the buildings have been laid out in the way they've been laid out, given the shape of the site and the the setbacks that we have to maintain. So we have the proper distance between buildings, between building A and C. I think we even exceed it. And for the most part, we have the proper distance between buildings B and D. It's just for those little utility closets. And because we're under density and we meet all the parking, you know, you have to weigh out costs of the construction project and all the costs that are involved with what you're going to end up making on the job to make it a feasible job. So we downsized. We didn't put as many units as maybe you could on a lot this size. And so to design it properly, if you look in the middle between building A and C, we have to keep a certain amount of space there for the truck turnaround. So there are certain truck movements that need to be made both for the refuse enclosure and for emergency vehicles to be able to get in and out of the site. There is a truck turning plan within this package as well. If we scroll down, and you can see those movements a little more clearly. Let's see if we could find that. So you could see it on here. You could see it in blue. So because we need to provide a certain radius and distance there for the truck turning radius, that factors into the design of the buildings as well. And also, the planning tends to like buildings broken up, not to just have one, you know, long row house facade. So that's also a reason to have separate buildings.
No problem. I mean, like, you did answer my question right now. I was going to ask about what were you going to do as far as like fire department and vehicles like that?
Yes.
How they get in, how they get out. Okay. Another question, as far as if we were to approve this application, do you agree to these three conditions? Then shall not have closets or doors. Openings to the rooms shall exceed 4 feet in width. The second condition, recreation area rooms shall be for the use of tenants and their guests only. And then the third condition is, do you agree to both lots being merged?
Yes. Yes to all of those.
Okay. I have no further question.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
Good evening.
Name and address for the record, please.
This is Ruth Pierre, 119 Cedar Road. I resign.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
What would you like to tell us?
Okay, so when the application came apart, I spoke to Rich with my concerns. So concerns are safety. It's a it's a street, so it's like one way. So we have 120 Cedar Road, that's a senior citizen. And I believe there's about maybe 60 or 70 apartments there. So we're already having a lot of traffic there. When there's emergencies, it's hard for the firefighters to get there. Sometimes they have to go into our driveway. I also have evidence, because I've been talking to the neighbors, they don't want another complex being built there because we're already having issues at 110 Cedar Road. So my concern is, how come they didn't, propose something else instead of adding additional 24 more units? It's a small area. So that's why I wanted the town to just go there, check it out first, to see, if it's even possible, because it's too many people. Parking is an issue. Before, I was explaining to Rich that you having random people park, they're doing drugs, prostitutions. He was aware of that. He is fixing that, but it's just too much, and I have little kids there. So now you adding 24 more people. And if 110 is not following the rules, how are you guys gonna guarantee us that the next one is gonna follow the rules?
When you say follow the rules, which rules are they breaking?
Meaning that, if it's a senior citizen complex, right, it has to be seniors. It can't be people under the age, and there are people that are not seniors living there, and many things happening there.
Okay.
So as a resident, paying our taxes, how that's gonna be guaranteed? It's just not fair. So that's why I'm here, because I know the town support the voice of the residents. So I just want you guys to hear what we have to say, because, everybody has to do whatever they have to do, but this is where I live. I work 14 hours a day. I want to be comfortable, and now you have to deal with another 24 units. Okay?
Anything else?
Anthony? Yeah, I'm next, I guess. Yes, you can come in. So this is my husband, Anthony. He's going to speak because, most of the time he's there, he sees what's happening,
Okay, thank you. Need your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Anthony Mealing, 119 Cedar Road. We are the closest house to the property.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yeah, not but the
What would
truth.
you like to tell us?
Yes. One question. Are we allowed to send pictures and stuff through emails or something like that to you guys?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Are we allowed to send images, videos, pictures of things I'm trying to say that I'm going to say today to you guys, maybe tomorrow?
Should have sent it, should have come
That's
to
what I
us
thought.
before the
That's-
meeting, that's the
yeah,
only thing.
no
Because it's a public hearing and everybody
problem,
has to
sir.
have access.
No problem, no problem. So some of the things that we go through is if they would have said a house was being built, I wouldn't be here, right? It's a lot, it's a house. When you say 24 units, and I'm thinking about my children, and the people that's been there the longest is my family. Been there for about 50 years, right? So we've seen that built from the ground up, right? And it's dangerous. It's dangerous over there. That lot there, the people that live there right now, I find it very interesting that, and they can confirm it, I guess, that people moved out a few days ago. I'm wondering, right before the board, everybody moves out. Do they know something? I don't know. But everyone's not there no more. They usually,
Nobody's living in the house anymore?
I find it very interesting that they've suddenly, after all these years, 3 days before this board meeting, people move out. It seems like they move out. I haven't seen 10, 15 people be there all the time, and nobody's there. It's quiet. Interesting. All right. And as far as the road is concerned, usually this road is a road that when it has both sides, cars on both sides, right? Not all the time, but a lot of times the car will be moving over to the side to let the other cars pass. That happens a lot. Not all the time. If the road's clear, you could go up the street, daytime, nighttime, both sides. You go first, I go first. That's normal over there. The fire trucks and stuff like that, sometimes they're in the street doing emergencies. They're in the street. I know this, we have to wait. We have to wait until they're done with the emergency, and then we can go through. And I'm thinking, if they have another emergency down there at 2 senior apartments, seniors, how they do it? If they have emergency at the same time, how are they going to do this? That's a lot. That's death. They have so many, at 110, they have you can check the records for yourself. You can say, Anthony was telling, they have so many calls over there right now. They have a lot of calls. If you check the record, they get a lot of calls for seniors over there. Another senior, one way on a dead-end street. I don't know another dead-end street that has 2 senior apartments. I don't know if you guys do. The size of ours, it's not a big road. That thing takes up 65% of the street, maybe. That one complex at 110, right? About 60% or whatever like that. It stretches pretty far. But a lot of times they're in the street handling their business inside because there's only one way in, and we're just looking at them like, man, and one way out. Fire truck go in, cop gotta wait. Cop go, fire truck go. I'm like, how does that work for seniors? And they're doing the same thing there? That's crazy. They want to build the same thing, do the same thing at 120. That is bizarre. Again, I have an actual question. I don't know if you guys can answer, but do you know of any place that's trying to do what they're doing on our block? 2 senior centers? Because if not, it's just an experiment. And we can't take that down. Once it's up, it's up. It seems like I don't know of another place on a dead-end block. The street's not that big. It doesn't have a divider. Like, you going this way, I go this way. No, it's all man for itself. There's a car here, go here. You do it the best way, you come here, and I'll do the best way, I go there. God forbid there's snow, because we just with the snow. You're going to be there a long time, slipping and sliding, and hope you don't glide into the next car. Seniors, too. The seniors, too. It could get dangerous over there. And there's just a lot of people. I don't know how the town work with population, but this ain't the Bronx. If this place get approved, they could use this as a precedent for any place to get approved. They could just say, look at Cedar. We could get approved, because look at this place. They got approved down Cedar. Why aren't you guys getting approved? It's a lot going, it's too much going on there for and then the kids' safety. My kids can't go in the street like that. And I mean, they don't go in the street like that anyway, but it's so dangerous. And it's very overpopulated. It's very overpopulated. And we don't want, and the final thing is, we submitted something for 30 people to sign petition. I think we had 30, kind of stopped there. 30 people signed petitions. Who says that this place is like, who in the community said it's okay? So far, you know how like a score in baseball is 30-0? We got 30 people. It's game's over. Who said this is okay in this community? What's that petition? What is it for? To get the petition? What is it for?
When did you send the petition?
August 20th?
August 20th with Rich.
Rich, but we stopped because we don't know. I don't know.
We don't have a copy of any petition.
Wait, hold on. You gotta be. But yeah, we sent it August 20th, sir, on record. Rich, we sent it. It's 30 people said they didn't want it. They didn't want it. So I was like 30-0. That's game over because it's the town. Nobody. We can't find one person that wanted it. If you know anybody that wanted it, let me know. Anybody, one person. I ain't know any, except the person trying to make money in the community. That's
Okay,
easy to do.
We'll look into that petition because we don't have it as part of the record tonight.
Submitted to this board.
Yeah, again, I'm sorry about that, but we gave it to Rich. I think it was Rich. Yeah,
All right,
August
well,
20th.
We'll look into it and see if there's something happening in the background that we don't know about. But, you know, right now, we don't have that petition in front of us.
Understood, but I'm on record of saying that we did. And again,
Okay, no,
the
that's
final thing
fine.
is very dangerous for the community. It's too much. And the 24 is not just 24 units. It's people come along with that.
Right.
It's a lot. And I don't know if any of you just like, yeah, let's bring another 24. That's good. In my neighborhood, just because there's space, it looks nice, but you can take that nice another space. I mean, it looks nice, but it belongs somewhere else. Looking nice. And our neighborhood is just too much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
God bless.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. So,
I have a
I
question.
want to ask, go ahead.
Well, my first one, I don't know if we have the same question, but do you have something set up as far as to regulate who rents there, the age, and like, because they were saying that in the other apartment, you know, there's people who are younger.
Right.
It's supposed to be a senior center. It's supposed to be 55 and over. Is this a process that goes through all that?
Right. So any rental company would be doing a vetting process. I can't speak to this other senior complex. I don't represent
Correct,
them. I
yeah.
don't know anything about how they do business. But normally, you would be asking for applications, and you'd have to make sure that the person is the right age. You would do a credit check. You know, while you're doing all of that, this is not a non-age restricted apartment complex. So everyone is supposed to be 55 or older.
Everybody I'm sorry, everybody that lives in that particular apartment, or just one person has to be 55 and over?
I believe you might be able to have a spouse that is under 55, but I mean, you're not supposed to be having small children. I know at a different hearing, there were reports that there's maybe grandchildren or other children at this other senior complex.
Correct.
I do remember after the planning board hearing that the planner who was here said code enforcement was going to look into that, but obviously it's not my property. I can't follow up on that. I don't know what happened with code enforcement, but the idea is not, you would not have children living there.
Is there a way to guarantee that in your property, there's not going to be anybody under 55 or children?
Well, it would be a violation. I mean, there are, you know, according to the code, so it would be a violation. So if code enforcement came and found that you had a bunch of children or a bunch of 18, 20-year-olds living there and they weren't the right tenants, then you'd be able to do something about it.
Okay.
Nicole, how many bedrooms at this facility, each unit?
It's one bedroom each unit.
One bedroom units?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just go over again, just for as far as the safety, just to explain as far as the fire departments and how it's going to work when they come in and when they go out, traffic?
Sure. So if we go back to that, that plan that showed the traffic, the truck turning, you can see on the street on Cedar, you could see the vehicle that's on Cedar entering the site, and they would make their turn into the center part. So between the two buildings that you see on, it would be on my right, you could see that the truck could be able to go in and then would be able to back out, or they could even come in and back in and go forward, back out. They have a couple of options there, whether it's a sanitation truck trying to access the refuse, or if it's an emergency vehicle. The other site is a ring road. I don't know their width, so maybe they have more difficulties getting in and out. But as you can see with the truck turning diagram, that's something that's reviewed by both the fire marshal's office and by town DEC to make sure that we comply with all the town's regulations. And they found that we did.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Do you know of any other streets where there's two senior complexes or two complexes at all together?
Route 109, I mean, I don't know specifically of a dead end. I'd have to research that, but,
I realize that.
there are areas where they tend to congregate. You have a lot on Montauk Highway, you have a lot on Route 109. The other one faces Schlegel, so they're not coming out onto this road.
We're looking at the tax. Can you go back?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go back.
This?
So this is just what is labeled 120
We are 120 and 126.
and 126?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I wasn't positive about.
Yes.
Because the way it was showing it. Okay.
The site plan?
The main entrance.
So Nicole, you said this facility would be exiting and egress would be only on Cedar. The other apartments are egresses on Schlegel.
There's condos on Schlegel, so if you look at, on the aerial, the ones that are all behind us that each have their own numbers, all those come out onto Schlegel, so they have to have nothing to do with Cedar.
So
110, which is next door to us, that's a senior complex. They come out onto Cedar. That's immediately next to us. And traffic safety reviewed it. They asked for us to get a traffic study done, and IMEG submitted a traffic study. So between them and Nelson and Pope, they did their full review.
Another question. So the only entrance is through Cedar. I guess there's no way to make a road on Schlegel Boulevard, right?
No, that's private property to
Okay.
the rear of us, so there's no way to cut through and utilize that space, yeah. And then we have the Southern State,
Yeah.
so.
too bad they couldn't use this. Too bad.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Okay, we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. You get the decision in the mail. We're going to take everything you guys brought up down here tonight. And you
Thank
can
you.
check in the zoning office for our decision. All right? Thank you.
I have a question. So I can forward, can I, tomorrow bring the lists of the people with the signatures and the pictures?
Let us check and see if we have the list, okay?
But it should be, August 20th at 2:30 with Rich.
Okay.
That's when we had the meeting.
All right, we'll check into it. Thanks.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Next application is application 26-12, Peggy West. Oh, Peggy West Babylon LLC. Property located in West Babylon. Name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Philip Butler with the law firm of Forcelli, Deegan, Tirana, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard in Uniondale.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 5th, 2026. A environmental control memo dated March 4th, 2026. We have a fire marshal's report dated February 20th, 26. They approved it or passed it. We have a survey by Peter J. Barbazon dated May 18, 2025. A set of plans by Anderson Alexander, undated 3 photographs, and an affidavit of posting we have. Okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, sir. So the subject property is 1.2 acres. It's located in a GA industrial district. It's currently improved with a small concrete building which houses an office. There's an unenclosed roofed area and a small shed. There's also a perimeter fence that goes roughly around the property. The property in 1997 was granted a special use permit for outdoor heavy equipment storage. That permit has lapsed by some time. The surrounding area is what I would call a traditional industrial area. It's a GA district as well. There's a number of outdoor storage uses, auto body, a crane service center. There's also a small equestrian center to the northeast. The applicant is a newcomer to the property. They are seeking to acquire the site for a tow yard for the towing company that they operate. This would be a base of operations for their towing equipment and would be a storage yard for damaged vehicles that are brought to the property pending transport to a third party for service. No physical changes are proposed to be made to the property. Everything will remain as it exists today. So really, we're just looking for the permit so that they can operate legally as a towing business and towing yard. We are in receipt of the proposed conditions of approval that were set forth in the planning memo to the board. My client has no objection. We're happy to answer any questions. I also have Mr. Mike Milazzo here this evening, who is the principal of the towing business that would be acquiring the site.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we're not gonna do any repairs or any kind of automotive or anything like that?
So we're currently not proposing any auto body work, no repairs, no vehicle washing, no vehicle dismantling.
And if you decide later you need approval from this board?
Right, the special permit is going to be limited to the towing storage, basically.
Okay, and the barbed wire,
Mm-hmm.
can we remove that?
It is existing, but I imagine if it's not to code, we'll modify it as
You either got to
required.
remove it or permit it.
Sorry?
You either have to remove the barbed wire or get a permit for it.
Remove it. We're okay removing it.
Okay. And you have the site plans, you'll be storing as per the site plan. It says six tow trucks, 20 spots.
Right, so we're not actually proposing to stripe anything out. We're going to keep the site as it is, as I mentioned, but we did need to show that we can provide code-compliant parking. So we do provide a plan that shows code-compliant parking for employees' storage and the tow vehicles. We do show 20 vehicles parked for employees, but realistically, there's never going to be 20 employees on the site because the employees come, they park their cars, and then they take the trucks out.
All right. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none.
Hey, Mr. Chairman?
Can we add the conditions that the barbed wire be removed?
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 26-12 for 1 year, subject to three conditions. Outdoor storage permitted only at per site. No repair work permitted on site unless approved by the zoning board of appeals, and that the barbed wire be removed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Next application is application 26-14 of Happy Days Dispensary, property located in East Flemingdale.
Good
Name
evening,
and
board
address
members.
for the record.
Yes, Paul Lepore, president of Happy Days Dispensary, 105 Route 109, Farmingdale, New York, 11735.
And you affirm to tell the truth.
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated March 5th, 2026, Environmental Control memo dated March 4th, 2026. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. We don't have Suffolk County planning on this. We have to wait for that, but that's not, anything you need to do. What else do we have? Fire marshal's report, there are no, we do have fire marshal, that's fine, yeah. No violations. A survey by Harold Bausch dated April 7th, 1989. Suffolk County planning is pending. Plans by Capitano Engineering dated July 31st, 2023. 4 photographs, and we have the affidavit of posting. What would you like to tell us about the application?
We've been operating for a couple of years now, and really have had a lot of fun serving our community, educating the community in the philanthropic initiatives. Over the past year alone, we provided over 120 children with heart surgery. We also worked with the Babylon Animal Shelter, Long Island Cares as we continue initiatives with them, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and look forward to continuing our philanthropic initiatives and serving the community.
Okay, there are 4 conditions on the bottom of that planning memo. You read them?
I did, and we agreed to all of them. They're pre-existing.
Okay. Yeah, it's the hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday 10 to 8. No consumption of product on site, no curbside pickup. There should be no special events held inside or outside of the premises. Okay, any other questions from the board? No, guess not. Would anyone like to be heard on this application? No.
Guess not.
For the record, there are none. Okay, so I'll make a motion to,
We need Suffolk County Planning.
oh, we need Suffolk County Planning. I'm sorry. We get Suffolk County Planning.
Absolutely.
Okay?
All right. Have an excellent evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can we close?
I will close the streaming portion of the meeting and continue